It's not changed.
Cody Rhodes, the time is about up. No longer can you hide behind your brother, behind any obstacle that you can find. No more excuses. It's time to pay the piper. So, what you got to think about is what this man is going to do to you.
What's going on here?
What the hell is that? Lance Archer.
Cody.
Oh no! He brought some toys this week.
He brought his Ford
Well, if you're
F-150.
gonna run that muck, what the hell are you
It's coming in here.
What the hell, man?
Cody bursting into Daly's place, and he's got his fist taped up. Cody's ready to fight. Cody means business.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the War Report. Whether you've been up all night listening to the New Future or, I guess, watching Scoob, I'm your host, Murjani. As always, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Cyrus. Last week I was off. I had some migraines. Thank you for Justin for taking over, holding down the fort next week. Cyrus, what's going on? How you feeling?
Last night I actually saw a tweet praising Scoob. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll watch Scoob. But right now it is a very gloomy morning. It is pouring outside. So that today should be fun.
Listen, full disclosure, I am watching that today. I am fully
on
watching the Scoob today. I'm pretty sure a lot of stir-crazy kids, parents are gonna buy that movie so the parents can duck away for about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. I really think it's insane that Scooby-Doo has lasted this long.
Yeah, right. And then I think 2 weeks later on HBO Max, we're getting new episodes of Looney Tunes.
HBO.
All these cartoons are just outlasting. Bugs Bunny.
I can't wait for HBO. I can't wait for HBO Max, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, everybody said that Netflix was going to die. Netflix is still hanging in there. They're giving you
Netflix ain't going nowhere. Who we should be worried about is Disney Plus.
I knew it. Listen, I said Disney Plus should have at least waited a year. They should have waited a year before launching this because it was Mandalorian, and then you had some movies like Lady and the Tramp. And then there was that Toho movie, and then
just mad. I just think there's just mad content on there that I probably wouldn't watch every day. I don't think there's a lot of good series on there to watch. I'm never in the mood to watch a fuck ton of Disney movies at once. I'm not trying to see Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've never thought about watching Lizzie McGuire again. Disney Plus is the nostalgia machine, and I don't. That nostalgia doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I know nostalgia has kind of been the thing with all these series getting rebooted. You saw Saved by the Bell is getting rebooted by the Peacock NBC service, but I don't know how many people are going to watch Rookie of the Year all over again. You know what I mean? And then unfortunately with the pandemic, things got delayed. I know Falcon and Winter Soldier still has to do some shooting to do. Hopefully they get that done so they could maybe make the August premiere date. For what I understand, WandaVision is done, but you got to have original content, and it seems like HBO Max has that. Netflix definitely has it. They have something new every week. Now, if that's good content, that is, that's debatable. You know what I mean?
It is unlimited content, and I think that's important because you can weed out the bullshit. But Shame that pro wrestling doesn't have, you know, a whole bunch of bullshit going on because there's only like 2 promotions active.
I mean, New Japan is looking. That's the
They're
thing.
trying.
I don't know how New Japan is going to look with empty arenas. I feel like the crowd kind of helps make their shows. Like, you're going to hear like the slap from like Ishii and Shingo, like, you know.
Well, we have to think, like, New Japan fans, they are fairly silent anyway. So, but I wouldn't be annoyed at like a no fans New Japan match, you know. I talked about it before, like the no people gate at Stardom, like they did a lot with like no people there. You know, they kind of like they knew it was there, like, you know, the whole like mystique of like it being like fairly gone, so that, you know, they just tried to push forward anyway. So I think hearing the slaps from Ishii, or, you know, the never open weight title matches are like really going to be something, and then, you know, you could hear the wrestlers talk shit more or whatever. So it would be different, but I don't think it would be like drastically different where like it really hurts the product. But whenever New Japan comes back, I think they should be coming back strong, like stronger than ever.
Yeah, I think that New Japan will definitely come back around G1 time in the fall, I would guess, or maybe late summer. ROH, they've canceled shows. MLW, they're still trying to figure out their stuff. NWA, also trying to figure out what they can do. And I think that's a good segue into In the Trenches this week, where we start off. Rusev possibly going to the NWA. So Nick Aldis said, he was talking about NWA and like the pandemic and everything. They mentioned Rusev, and Nick Aldis like wanted Rusev to go there. And his quote is like, if we could get him at the NWA, even for a short period run, it would be huge. Now, immediately, I didn't think of him going to NWA, but I was watching Power yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? That might actually be a good fit for him.
Yeah. As long as, and you know, because NWA Power does have like the old school like gimmick, or, you know, kind of like feel to it. As long as they don't give Rusev like Evil Foreigner, like all old wrestling does, I think he'll be great over there.
Yeah, that would kind of be my only reservation thinking about going to, like, is he going to be like the evil, like Russian character?
As long as they don't do that with him, then I think he would be perfect over there. I think there's a ton of people at NWA Power that are solid promos, solid wrestlers, so I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, I think for AEW, they have to kind of figure it out with the acquisitions that they already have, and add kind of Rusev to the mix right now. I don't know if they have like wiggle room to sign somebody like that, and the fact that like I think they need to, like, with Brody Lee, with Matt Hardy, with Lance Archer, like, you're getting them ingrained for Double or Nothing too. So I think kind of adding somebody like Rusev would be a little too much right now. But like, I could see Rusev in NWA, maybe New Japan when they start back up. I definitely like that was kind of, for me, that was the first place I thought. I was like, okay, he'd probably go to New Japan. I'm not really sure about ROH, but if they're trying to do stuff and change stuff over there with Marty as the booker, maybe so. Like, you probably see like Rusev versus like Jeff Cobb or somebody like that. But
I wouldn't hate that. But hopefully Rusev can get his footing back into the pro wrestling scene once everything is like figured out.
So next thing on the agenda, I saw this and kind of like talked about this with a friend off the pod. So I wanted to ask you, do you think it's an issue for Charlotte to kind of be on all three shows? She's going to be on SmackDown tonight. She's been on Raw. She's been on NXT. She's the NXT Women's Champion. Some people think that it seems to be like that's just kind of like too much.
Just say you hate Charlotte, really. Like, just say you hate Charlotte. If this was under regular circumstances, like, NXT was still in the Performance Center and, Charlotte showed up to SmackDown in Iowa, then I would have an issue. But they've been recording in the same place for 2 months now. Everybody wants to make a big deal out of ratings. So, of course, they're going to add, the SmackDown women's champion, have her on the face of all these shows. That's just how it's going to be.
I mean, you just said it to that point. Like, everybody's there. You might as well utilize all the talent that you have, right? Like, you see that with Raw and SmackDown in the talent exchange. If you have people like, you're down a Roman Reigns. You're down a Becky Lynch now. That is a huge void. Like, you're going to have to find. I mean, it's awesome that you have Asuka, a Bayley, who I think is hugely underrated for her heel run. Like, you have to kind of like figure out where you kind of like plug these pieces and like these kind of like these puzzle pieces and shift everything around. So. I don't think so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, NXT is not developmental. It hasn't been for a while. It's the third brand. So if you could utilize Charlotte, then go ahead.
And it's not like, she's going to, like, like, people used to give, Brock Lesnar shit all the time for not being there. But now you have a worker. Yeah, now you have a worker that like shows up everywhere, or shows up to work, and now it's an issue.
I mean, like, think of her kind of like showing up to SmackDown tonight. I would presume somebody, I guess, would challenge her. Like, maybe. I'm trying to think who
a Naomi,
who would challenge her for the NXT Women's title. Maybe like a Naomi, like that would be pretty cool.
Dana Brooke, not Lacey
Next Friday,
Evans.
bro. Next Friday.
Oh, true. Yeah. So it's just I'm cool with Charlotte being on all the shows. I would like to also like. Well, it's too late to preface, but I don't watch SmackDown or Raw. So
anybody who's watching like Wednesdays, it may give you a little bit of incentive to watch Raw. Well, at least SmackDown.
Well, yeah. Now I have to watch SmackDown.
At least see what Charlotte does. It'd probably be like a promo or something, and somebody would like
Yeah. Hopefully she goes up. Hopefully she has a match against with somebody like Naomi, or like somebody else from NXT comes on tonight, and then they have a match with somebody from SmackDown.
Lacey Evans. Nah, Lacey Evans is still got like something going with like Sasha and Bayley. So
yeah. So like that. Yeah, she's out of it. That's why I say like Naomi or like Carmella or like Dana Brooke or somebody.
And the final thing for In the Trenches, AEW Dark had like 18 matches on it this week. Like literally, well, I'm exaggerating. 9.
Yeah, it was like 9, which is ridiculous.
It was basically like a full
card.
Yeah, it was like a dynamite, but like I don't want to call them jobbers. Well, they kind of are jobbers, but
yeah.
I wanted to highlight a match in particular because, I was surprised that you didn't know him, and you're like the deathmatch connoisseur for RNC. Japanese deathmatch legend, Dr. Luther and Jenny Havoc fought in a no DQ.
Hey man, to further the fact that Luther ain't no real legend, he's on AEW Dark. If he was such a big legend like they proclaim he is, he would be on Dynamite.
True. Since you were the deathmatch kind of guru, what'd you think of the match?
So, I would say, you know, in this pandemic, you don't really want people like bleeding all over the place, or have like a really, really, having sort of a normal death match. Like I get that, just like keeping shit sanitary. But Luther moves like I like what it was, like a snail, like something like slower than a snail.
A sloth.
Yeah, just his offense is like bare minimum, and then Excalibur on commentary goes, like these are deathmatch guys, but like no, they can really wrestle. And then Luther just does like one of the laziest shits I've ever seen. And I've seen that, kind of like that story like played out before, like, oh, this deathmatch wrestler can't really wrestle, like I've seen that before and utilized much better because the talent weren't shitty. Luther is bad. I don't know what they were thinking about signing him. People say that like, oh, just like I asked people before, like, do you know Luther? Like, let's keep it really real. Do you know Luther? And it was just like, no, he just happened to be around in a time, or have matches on shows with people way more lit than he is. And then just because he was around for that time, people call him a legend.
Japanese deathmatch legend Dr. Luther. Listen,
Like,
when I first heard that, I was like, what the? Okay.
And I just want to highlight Jimmy Havoc real quick. This guy used to be like the hottest thing that the UK has to offer. This guy was like British wrestling and like, like highly popular in the UK. He comes here to AEW, just a fart noise when this man comes out. I don't think Jimmy Havoc should really like. AEW is not doing Jimmy Havoc any like they're not helping him.
Well, they're trying to like get him involved more. Like you saw him with Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford.
Yeah,
like they've been trying to get him into like regular.
But then they book
matches,
him in
which
this match.
I appreciate. But like with this Luther and Jimmy Havoc thing, it was like they built this up for like weeks. Then they kind of forgot about it, and then they had like the blow off match here, which was like a regular no DQ match, and it was okay.
I think unlike under certain different circumstances of the world, maybe we could have probably would have got like a more bloodier match or like a more brutal match. But like you can still have a brutal match without blood. WWE has done it before. But it's just like the wrestling between, like if you watch deathmatch wrestling a lot, like usually the spot to spot isn't too great. Here, the spot to spot isn't great, and then the spots suck. Like, they do like standard wrestling stuff, probably like like a leapfrog, sequence of some sort, and then Luther does like the I would say like the most brutal part of the match is where Luther does the arm drag or like a hip toss, and then like Jimmy Havoc's like vertebrae like hits the chair. Yeah. That's it, and that's like the most you get. Like people are like throwing chairs at each other's heads, and like that's it. Like that's the match.
Yeah, it was like I felt like it was one of the tamest no DQ matches ever. But the Rona, you don't know. Yeah. You don't want anybody catching that, but even though they do. As JR said this week, they are testing people.
Could they have a better match if Corona wasn't around? Maybe.
I mean, better subjective, my friend. What do you mean by better? Like, do you mean by like high, like bigger spots, like lighting the table on fire better, or like having
bigger spots better?
Probably. It was just like, if Jimmy Havoc were to do something to Luther, like, he would have some time to do it because Luther moves so slow. But, they would probably, like, do some staple guns. They would probably do things like that. But, like,
this is probably, like,
better is a term that we are, like, contorting, like some Play-Doh here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, necessarily it would be like a 5-star match, but like it would probably be more, I would say more brutal, but I don't know.
Well, when this match is no stars, I think if you even gave me a 2-star, I would be happy.
Oh man, I don't know.
Luther
like,
is bad.
It's just when we talked, and I'm like, Luther, right? Dr. Luther, the Japanese deathmatch legend Luther. You're like, who? I was like, okay, we're in trouble here.
I don't know everybody out there, but I put it out there to the world. I was just like, do you know who Luther is? Nobody said nothing. People just said, I think Chris Mack, he was just like, he was like on the undercard for like dudes way more fire than he is. He just happened to be around. But nah, he ain't no legend by any means, bro.
Well, I think right there is a good segue to get into AEW Dynamite. I think we should talk a little bit about this Cody and Archer angle that begins the show. So I think it's kind of sets the tone for everything because like the ending stuff on this show, like there was a lot of botches, I would say. I thought it was an okay show. Hopefully we get something a little better for the Double or Nothing Go Home show because that's next week. But there were a lot of like things that just didn't end the right way. Kind of when Cody goes for like that cutter that he does off the ropes, he slips a little bit. Archer kind of catches him. It pushes him back to the ropes. And Jake the Snake, Archer, and Cody kind of look at each other, and then Archer gets to the other side. I was like, what is going on here? Jake did not... I know Jake is a little bit older, and the promo was initially good, but I was like, okay, as Cody's doing this, you could kind of, maybe hit him or push him off or do something like that. And I'll go with the truck because I think Justin said this, and I was thinking this too. When you drive a truck like that, and I don't know if it's stick or anything like that, you will flood the transmission doing what Cody did. Like, your transmission will be fucked. That is $2,000 to $3,000 of hard-earned money that you have to use to replace that. And I'm like, okay, like it's a nice little truck.
How do you feel about how do you feel about the truck whole thing where he like floors it and then breaks when he hits like a little thing?
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, like my transmission kind of went like my transmission in my car like winced. That's not what you're supposed to do. I thought it was very kind of reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin because it's Stone Cold, used to drive trucks, Zambonis, anything through the arena. And, the juxtaposition between Cody doing it, like, coming down with a black truck and coming off with, like, formal gear to fight with his fist taped, I thought it was pretty funny. But...
yeah. I don't think it was supposed to be funny. But I certainly enjoyed that part a lot. And I didn't think the brawl was too, like you pointed out, like there's a lot of botches in the brawl. And Jake the Snake Roberts sounds horrible here. Like, he sounds sick.
Yeah, what is going on? on with his voice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the promos are good, I think. But it's like, you know, if I'm drinking tea, I want to pass him, like, I want to, like, kind of, like, pass him a cup. Like, I'm like, dude, drink something.
Give my man a recall. Like, he should not be talking this long with his voice sounding like that. Like, definitely Lance Archer should be picking up the mic for himself at this point. Hopefully when the feud is over, Lance Archer could pick up the mic for himself. Jake the Snake sounds awful here. And then, you know, during the brawl, he, like, adds sly comments onto the microphone, and he just sounds, like, awful. Segment not too great.
Beat his ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will defend his usage here because I think he adds an element. I think Jake the Snake Roberts is one of the best heels of all time to me. If you look, like, back in the 90s and the stuff that he did with The Undertaker and Randy Savage, like, all-time heel stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, basically like, his cerebral things that he's adding here is better. He does say some stuff about women here that I was like, this is, I mean, this is a very 80s promo that I don't know would kind of go over well in 2020. But
it is so 80s where he says anything that happens in this, you know, square circle, you know, you step in here, anything's like, you know, liable to happen. I feel like that is like one of the most 80s things I've ever heard.
It's like, why do you have, like, you know, like, the women's supposed to do this? And I guess he's obviously talking about Randy, but, you know, just get, like, a Halls, get some green tea, like, clear. I don't know, like, his voice is just kind of, like, I'm like, dude, like, are you
his voice is leaving him, and then you're having him cut these promos. Not the best idea, but I am looking forward to Lance Archer and Cody. Next week we get a standoff between Jake the Snake and Arn Anderson. Yawn.
Well, I mean, like, they're gonna, on the behalf of Cody and Lance, they're gonna cut, like, some passionate promos. Like, they're both great on the mic. It's just like, is Lance Archer? I'm guessing that Lance Archer is gonna attack Arn. He's gonna attack Arn and like smash his head into the, you know, canvas and the ring canvas, and then like Cody's gonna run him off. That's what I think.
All right, I wouldn't be too mad at that.
Hikaru Shida, I mean, I feel like she's been number one contender for a while now, but she's the consensus contender right now. Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, she won this match against Penelope before Britt Baker and Chris Statlander. It was good to see Chris Statlander back, even though I felt she was like a little rusty here. But she will go against Nyla. I thought the promo at backstage that they had was a little weird because like Nyla's like, I have something for you, and then like she clearly has the kendo stick, and then she like taps the kendo stick, and then like and like Hikaru's like, oh. And then I'm like, all right, that's a
very. It was very Tom and Jerry for me.
Yeah.
Like it for me, it didn't ruin the whole thing for me. It's just a small nitpick where like she clearly has the candlestick behind her back, like it's like literally like kind of like peeking over her head, and then she just like whacks her once, and then she instantly looks at the camera. I'm just like, sell it a bit. Hit her a couple more times. Fuck it.
It was very like Roadrunner, Wile Coyote-ish.
Yeah. I thought the women's match was really good. It seems like they're moving in the direction of Chris Statlander and Britt Baker, or God knows whatever the hell they're gonna do with Brandy Rhodes. Me and Justin talked about it last week, where like everybody's like in a feud of some sort. You know, like everybody doesn't really like anybody, so anything is really liable to happen. So whatever happens with Statlander, Brandy, and Britt Baker, maybe this is the time where Statlander and Brandy finally come together outside of Nightmare Collective.
Yeah, so you're going to have 2 matches and Double or Nothing too. So Karu Shida and Nyla Rose is going to be a no DQ, no countout match.
Fire.
And then you're going to have Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker is also going to be on the card. So there you go. Finally, I like that they booked 2 women's matches on like their main pay-per-view card. So I'm like, all right, we're heading in the right direction. Good for them.
Yeah.
Jericho and our man Pineapple Pete.
Well, there's a payoff for all the Pineapple Pete slander that Jericho has been doing really unwarranted for a pretty long time, and then it's over. And then we get this a stampede, a stadium stampede. Whatever the hell that is. Jericho cuts a promo to Vanguard 1 again.
Rest in peace, Vanguard 1.
Yeah, talk about goofy shit. And then Jericho has a bat which he names Floyd. And then he hits Vanguard 1 with it.
Yeah.
And then the Inner Circle is like jumping a drone.
They beat the hell out of Vanguard 1, man.
Hey man, Matt Hardy Trump check must have came through because that boy love his drone, and he probably gonna upgrade to a new one.
Well, hopefully. I mean, like, hopefully they're paying him good over there, where he could kind of.
Where he afford a new drone?
Yeah, like you can. Depending on what state he is in, he could go to a Best Buy and get a curbside pickup and get a drone. You know, like
brand new drone, no keys, bro.
I think he'll be fine. Good on Pineapple Pete for getting some offense here. Like I thought that, like good for him there. But like Pineapple Pete, not sorry, bud. You know.
Got offense for. Yeah, got offense for like 12 seconds and then Judas Effect. Can you enlighten me on what's a Stadium Stampede match?
I do not know. I will. They didn't tell us. I think that
I'm going to
will
Google
inform
it right
us
now.
next week. If I had to guess, it was probably going to be like a falls count.
Just a stadium. Oh, just like a stadium brawl.
Yeah. I thought like this is just like their fancy way of saying it, like Stadium Stampede.
Instead of Stadium Stampede, I would have preferred if they like kept like the War Games match that they were gonna do.
Oh, the Blood and Guts match.
Yeah, I would have preferred that. Cause I just love War Games, but sure, whatever the Stadium Stampede is. That street fight that Sammy Guevara got ran over went over so well with the people, so might as well add everybody to the mix.
The same with that, with this match, just with like 5-on-5.
Yeah, shouldn't be too bad, I guess. Depending, like if it goes long, then like it's gonna overstay its welcome. But I'm okay with that.
Quick piece of business here. Mike Tyson is going to be presenting the TNT title. How random is that? Right?
TNT title.
What do you think about that?
No, I think AEW usually like I sometimes I have a problem with how they displayed the first title with Bret Hart. Where there was like a whole bunch of people there, and then Bret Hart just unveiled the title, and then as they were brawling, and then the camera wasn't on him, they really flubbed that reveal, in my opinion. AEW capitalizing on the return of Mike Tyson, or Mike Tyson basically saying he's back. They're kind of striking while the iron's hot. Because I don't really know when Mike Tyson's going to have another boxing match, but Mike Tyson saying he's back and then getting booked to present the TNT title, I think that's very good timing on them.
Oh yeah, they definitely stuck when the iron was hot. Like it was just like Mike has been doing all these kind of like fight videos. Like the guy he's still got it. Like if I'm wondering, like, would you for $10 million would you take a combination from Mike?
Yes. Fuck it.
Yeah, like
10 mil.
A good 10 million.
I had 2 spinal surgeries, bro. I think I could take a combination from Mike and live.
Yeah, like, I mean, you'll be out for a while, but you will be $10 million richer when you come to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then get some drinks, and I ain't even gotta worry about the price.
Might have a little CTE, but like at least you'll remember enough to enjoy the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson presenting this title. I know we'll get into it when we talk about NXT in a bit, but like there was some like a little juxtaposition here because In Your House is coming back, and then they're like, oh well, Mike Tyson is kind of obviously like they're doing some nostalgia stuff too, and I just think that like Cody and all of them were on social media and they saw like the videos, and they're like, what, let's call this guy. Let's see what they could do.
Yeah.
He was there at the original Double or Nothing. From what I heard, he really enjoyed it. So, like, if you wanted to bring somebody out, cool, Mike Tyson. Maybe he'll get involved. Maybe he'll punch MJF or something like that.
Yeah, I have no qualms with them bringing in Mike Tyson. Like, I told my little joke on Twitter, but like, I think this is a good get to present the title, as long as they don't like try to have like a brawl again before unveiling the title.
Yeah.
Then I think everything should go fine, and then we can talk about NXT In Your House when we get there. But I think it's a good ideas on both sides.
So they mentioned some of the rules for the Casino ladder match. So it's Scorpio Sky, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, and Cole Cabana who's in it so far. So the Casino ladder match, it's going to start with 2 men. And then every, I think, 60 or 90 seconds, another man is going to get in the ring. But you know what I mean? Like, the 2 men who are already in the ring can get the chip before anybody else comes down there. So it's like battle royal, like their Royal Rumble type rules, but in a ladder match.
Innovation.
Yeah, I think they were just like, all right, we got a ladder match. We obviously can't do the battle royal here, so let's just kind of combine the two. That's why I felt like that's what they were doing.
I think what could have made this better, how a lot of people accidentally like try to like pin or submit somebody in a ladder match?
Yeah.
Make it elimination.
Yeah,
you get eliminated, so you can't. Well, I just tapped my mic by accident. I'm sorry. Yeah, like add elimination.
Yeah,
that would have made it a lot better.
That would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
How many more people do they plan on having?
I'm not even sure. I know they got like the guys I just mentioned. It can't be too many. I think that too many people would kind of like dilute it a little bit, because you're gonna have some crazy ass spots with Darby, Scorpio, and Rey Fenix.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I guess they'll announce maybe 1 or 2 more people this week. We'll get into like predictions and stuff next week when we do our prediction show. Just to wrap things up, this Brody Lee and Chris Daniels match was a little weird to me, because Chris Daniels, like, Brody Lee gave Chris Daniels a lot here, and then there was the chair thing that I'm like, all right, you wanted to pick Brody Lee as a monster, but then you want him to cheat like a heel with the chair, and that didn't work. And then Chris Daniels gets his finishers off, and obviously he kicks. Like, I feel like with some AEW matches, they just don't know how to go home. With the
Gotta keep Chris Daniels strong for some reason. The one time that they don't do a squash match, it is to their detriment. Yeah, this match was weird, and then SCU gets involved, where like everybody's like brawling in the ring, and the ref doesn't like try to inject anybody out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like it was a weird match. I definitely think Christopher Daniels. Like I definitely think the match should have been shorter. Cut out the chair thing. Like I don't think I don't know if Christopher Daniels trying to use a chair. Like you're not a quote unquote heel tag team. So I thought that was weird when he pulled out the chair and tried to use it. But yeah, man, this match was a little weird. But we're getting Brody Lee and Jon Moxley for the title. So be it, I guess. Like last week, I said I wanted to see Brody Lee in like a normal match before facing Jon Moxley, and then we got this. Like, I'm not excited for the match come Double or Nothing.
I mean, like we've seen them in CZW, we've seen them in WWE. This is a quick build for them. I mean, like they're building within 2 weeks. They're trying to make some stakes. I'm not saying like they should have squashed Christopher Daniels, but like some of the stuff here where they were like trying to protect him just kind of baffled me a little bit. I was like, oh, well, like I don't know what they're really doing. What are you trying to show me? Like,
especially like
Daniels and the Dark Order had that little storyline in the beginning. It's just that like I don't know. Like, what are you trying to do now? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that shit's over with.
Long over with. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I just didn't think that Brody Lee came off looking the best in this match, and I think that AEW has to really like look for a way to like end their matches that doesn't end in this big ass kerfuffle. Basically, it's just like, oh, a lot of stuff is happening. Like like you said, SCU and the Dark Order are fighting in the ring, and the ref is like, what the hell is going on? And then they just went back to having a regular match. It was just very, man, it just
not
like a lot.
Messy, to say the least. And then, the post match stuff. Moxley comes out, gives
he gives that speech.
What is the paradigm shift? Delivers a couple paradigm shifts, and then we're on our way.
That is AEW Dynamite for the week. Let's jump into NXT. We got some kind of, I think, some cool stuff to go to. Like we alluded to, NXT TakeOver is going to happen June 7th. It is the 25th anniversary of In Your House, so it's going to be NXT TakeOver In Your House. I think this is so cool. They got to bring back the set. They got to bring back the classic set for this. If they don't do that, then they are doing this an injustice.
Yeah, I think they could pull some pull out all the stops and then put that together. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what matches are going to be on there.
I'm just glad that they're having a takeover. It just seems like it's been forever since they had one.
Yeah. Well, we kind of got one last week without the moniker of Takeover. But yeah, it's nice that we're getting like a special of some sort where like some like feuds can probably like come together or like some will end.
So a big shock to me, Imperium are the new tag champs.
I saw this and I was just like, yeah, this makes sense. Like they had chemistry for a couple matches, but once you like, I guess when you go against a more experienced tag team, I guess, it kind of like weighs thin.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this in like older shows. I think Eichner and Barthel should have been the NXT UK tag champs.
Absolutely.
But obviously NXT UK is on ice, so getting them here it gives an extra interesting little wrinkle to NXT. As you saw, and I thought it was a neat little through line throughout the whole show. It was Matt Riddle and Tim Thatcher. They basically, I mean, their alliance was kind of on, I wouldn't say on shaky ground. Like, it just seemed like Tim was not all the way bought in Matt Riddle's kind of like character, or as they were playing it along, and it was eventually going to wear thin.
Like Pete Dunne can deal with his shenanigans, and I guess Timothy Thatcher just couldn't. So I think it might be a little weird once Pete Dunne comes back, and then Matt Riddle could be like, "Yo, you like set me up." And I think this is a good way to like slowly like push Matt Riddle out of NXT.
Yeah, like what else could he do there unless he's going for like the major title? Because like going with the Undisputed Era Zoom call, they got some other issues on their hands, and we could briefly talk about that. Next week, it's going to be Roderick Strong versus our guy Dexter Lumis. Do you think that
can I ask for a better wrestling match?
Do you think that Dexter Lumis is going to? Are they doing what I think they're going to do, and kind of have him go through all of Undisputed Era and maybe go challenge Cole for the title?
I'm with it. Shit, it could be the match for In Your House.
It could be. He could stalk all Undisputed Era and then just kind of go to get Cole. Like, I guess we saw the vision early, and then they're just took it.
Hey man, I have my third eye open. It'd be really cool if they do the Zoom call again, and then Dexter Lumis like pops up in one of their. That'd be so fire. Yeah, man. No, or like he's like they do it again. He's like he's in Roddy's house or some shit like that, man. I'm all in on Dexter Lumis, man. I'm really I think he's a really good competitor, and they could do some really cool wacky shit with him. They
could. Like, he could either kind of, like, they do the Zoom call and they hear, like, it'd be like some horror movie shit. Like, they, like, who's this fifth person? Like, it's just, like, a blank thing. And then all of a sudden they show, like, Dexter Lumis just kind of, like, staring into his laptop or his phone. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm all in, man.
So, circling back around, like, what'd you think about this Matt Riddle-Tim Thatcher match? I loved it because it was a different type of match that we used to see in NXT. Like, obviously, these guys have, like, some wrestling background. Matt Riddle has his MMA background. Like, as you saw in the beginning of the match, he's, like, striking, and then, like, Tim Thatcher kind of works off that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
This is kind of like everything I like about like two people with like styles that I really enjoy. I do love the catch point wrestling sort of thing. So these two to come together and just do a lot of that stuff in this match. I like this match a lot, and it didn't go too long. Like if it was like on a takeover or some shit like that. Like it really came together, and Matt Riddle took a loss, so that's good. They didn't squash Thatcher or squash. They let Thatcher get a big win here.
Do you think that Thatcher joins his Imperium buddies?
No, I don't think so. I know people are just like Walter and they have history on the indies, of course, but like we don't have to rehash everything that happens on the indies.
So going off that, Damian Priest is Finn Balor's attacker. I thought it was a pretty good match between Finn Balor and Cameron Grimes. But what do you think about... I didn't see Damian Priest coming. Like, I thought it was going to be somebody different. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head. Anybody but Damian Priest. But it was a pleasant surprise. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it was like Finn Balor's working with somebody taller, somebody athletic. they can make this into a really fun match for In Your House.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about it?
I'm excited to see Damian Priest work with someone smaller. Like I will say, I think Keith Lee beating Dijakovic and Damian Priest put a stink on them, really. Because I'm sure when people saw Damian Priest, they were just like, "Oh, this motherfucker again," you know. So I'm excited for the match. It's weird that it's like heel versus heel. Maybe we see Balor turn, or we see I don't think we're gonna see Damian Priest turn. I think he's too established in like the infamy thing. So I think that's weird. Like Balor's character can easily be molded back into a face. Yeah, for In Your House, I think it will make a decent match, but I wonder how this feud is going to evolve prior to that pay-per-view.
Hey, man, Damian Priest was he was undefeated for a long time there until the whole Keith Lee Dom thing. I think this pairing him with Finn Balor will be like a good refresher for him. So because he's been kind of like wrapped up in that whole North
getting
American
bodied by
scene
Keith Lee
and taking L's and taking losses. I think that Finn Balor is a good guy to pair him with. So going off of that, I don't know. Like I said, like this was a feud that I wasn't expecting, but in NXT there's so much talent there that you can just kind of like pair anybody, you know, and like it make a good match. Before I get to the Gargano dinner, I want to go to two quick notes. It looks like Aaliyah will not be getting a invitation to the Rob Stone Collective, losing to Caden Cross, unfortunately.
Caden Carter got a much needed win.
Caden Carter, my bad. Cross, but go ahead.
But I love Rob Stone coming out and being like, "Oh, I'm here to scout you." Soon as he lost, ew, bitch. Oh, that's so fucked up, man. They shouldn't have had. Nah, man, that felt too green for me. But yeah, man, this sucks. I definitely thought Aaliyah was gonna join the brand. I thought this would have been much needed for her, but I guess they don't really see the vision, man.
Listen, now to her credit, I think that she is getting a little bit better in the ring. However, last week, trying to jump in the match, gets beat up by Xia Li, and then runs off unexpectedly. I don't know why she did that.
Mm-hmm.
This week, losing to Caden Carter. Hey, I don't think that. I think that scouting thing went the wrong way. And
yeah.
I guess that she won't be joining. I guess Rob Stone's just like, well, there's nothing we can do here. See ya.
Yeah, it's just like, you're not really with the shits, buddy. And then, she's out of there. Hopefully, well, I'm not going to really hope for anybody to really come back anytime soon, but because, just how shit is right now. But, she really needs to link back up with Vanessa Bourne, and they need to come back and get some wins.
I don't even know if Vanessa Bourne is still in NXT, honestly. I think
yeah, I don't know either.
she may have been one of the cuts. I don't know if Bad and Bougie is even. You might just still have the Bougie. I think the Bad left out the door.
That's unfortunate. And that's very unfortunate for Aaliyah.
But hey, like I said, if she can kind of get some wins under her belt, maybe she could join the Rob Stone Collective. I don't know. She's got to start winning.
Maybe this lights a fire under her. I just don't know anybody in NXT she can beat. Maybe who's the girl that Candice beat last week or two?
Casey Catanzaro.
Yeah, maybe she could get a win against her.
As the Gargano dinner would say, like the ninja.
Yeah.
I thought that the Dakota Kai video package was really good. Obviously, they're going to go back to her and Tegan are not done. So they're going to go back to that.
Wrap that up.
You're not a fan anymore?
I just feel like we got the blow off already. Like, we already seen the finale of the whole thing. So, like,
we're getting the blow off. Okay?
And I'm just like, why?
To do all blow offs. Like, we're getting match, I think 5, I think? But I'm not really sure what they could do. Like, they've done, like, the no DQs. They've done stuff like that. Like, what do you do here? Like a steel match?
Hey, man, if it turns out to be that, I'm all in. I just think it's what, like, me and J5 talked about it last week. It's just like, it seems like her losing to Dakota Kai and then her having the weird match with Shotzi Blackheart, the weird tag match, which I believe they also lost. So it's just like, what are we doing with Tegan Knox? Like, it seems like they were already like pushing her out, and now they like pulling her back in. And then she had the match with Indy Hartwell this week, and it was another sprint. All Tegan Knox is having is like sprint matches.
I don't know, man. Maybe like just like the MCU, they got Captain Marvel waiting in the wings. So I thought that the card right now is a little like with Charlotte, Io, and Rhea. It's full at the top at this point, but hopefully, like in the next round of baby faces, like they could get Tegan in there and kind of maybe face Charlotte. That would actually be a pretty good match, I think. I don't know.
I wouldn't hate it.
Just to finish up, listen, the Gargano dinner and having the cup in the middle of the centerpiece kind of like makes me. I'm like, what? Let's just move it out there, move it out the way. One, I hope you watch that, and two, like, it's just a weird centerpiece to have for a dinner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, it just kind of throws me
so
off.
Weird.
And then, I guess the editing. I just did a movie podcast for the Rage Carry too, and every time she does the telekinesis thing, there would be like this black and white giveaway. So the whole like thing where they look into the camera, and I guess Johnny calls out Keith Lee, and then Candice calls out Mia Yim, like a funny like couples to couples thing. I was just like, oh, okay, and like I don't know, it just. These dinners are cool, like they're fun, but I'm like, all right, like there was like, maybe there were too many of those gray segments for me, but he got the point across. Like we're getting Johnny Gargano and Keith Lee.
I like the dinner stuff, and I do like the little effect where it kind of changes, and it shows like the true personality or whatever, or like what they really trying to say. I enjoy that a little bit. I do like these dinner segments a lot. I think they're goofy. I do like they're probably not supposed to be, but I do find them goofy.
I like Candice and Johnny being heels. Like I think that they do this really well.
But yeah, we're gonna get the Yim and Lee versus the Wrestling Family, and I think that should be interesting. Hopefully, it doesn't like lead into like a whole like a mixed tag. Like I hope that's not like kind of like the blow off or whatever. But it is what it is.
I think that we're gonna get separate matches. I think that these are gonna be matches on the In Your House card. I think.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't hate that.
And you know how Keith Lee like working with smaller guys, like he's
finally.
and then Johnny Gargano, amazing wrestler. I just want to see how he could take down Keith Lee in his own way. Like it.
Yeah.
You know,
now that the
power, Johnny would probably have to do something a little different.
Yeah. Finally, the North American title division is no longer the Haas division. Now we can see Keith Lee do some interesting stuff with smaller guys.
So next week, you got Kushida versus Drake Maverick, Akira Tozawa, and El Hijo del Fantasma. And then Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley, which I am eagerly anticipating. Will Charlotte get involved? We'll see.
I hope not. Yeah, the Cruiserweight tournament stuff is happening. This week I wasn't too invested in it. Like, it kind of just like rolled off my face.
Yeah, it was like, Jake Atlas and Tony Nese. And
that was an okay
Gallagher
match.
And, Swerve Scott.
Did not like that.
Who weren't gonna win. It was like guys who were already out of the tournament. Yeah. So it was just like, how G1, they have these matches where, like...
the guy that, they have to keep going.
Yeah, it's just like, we already got the finals locked. Oh, nice, they're having a match. Like, it's not, like, going to change, like, the overall thing here. It's just...
Yeah, the guy with 5 wins already, I'm not watching the guy that has 5 losses. Like, he's not going to prevail in the end.
Yeah, like a
yeah, all right. I'm not watching Yano matches. But yeah, man, that was NXT. It was a fairly a good episode.
Not bad. Yeah. Next week we got the Double or Nothing 2 Go Home show. Myself and Cyrus will give our predictions for that. I mean, we're still getting rules for these matches, so hopefully they have most of the cards set. I would think that they are probably going to announce some stuff in week as well.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's our show. You got anything to go before we wrap it up here?
Spot callers will be coming out within the weeks. Within the week. I should have the episode edited fairly soon. So we're talking about Brawl for All. Me, Justin, and Mark. The episode was supposed to come out a lot sooner, but YouTube said no. So we had to come together and re-record, but I still think it was fun all over again. Talking about like the Dark Side of the Ring episode, JBL getting knocked out, and then Bart Gunn getting sent to God by Butterbean, which I've never seen originally, so that was a fun watch. But shout outs to Mark, shout out to Justin. It was a fun episode. It should be coming out fairly soon.
So today we're gonna have new late fees, and we're also gonna have a new It's a Challenge with meals.
Yeah.
Of course, the A show. They're back. They talk about Becky's big announcement, man. She's going to be a mom, so I'm really happy for her. They also give Bayley the flowers. Like I just said, like I think that Bayley is doing Lord's work with. I
really enjoyed the Tamina match.
I know that
I thought that match was really good.
There was a certain collective that did not like it, and you know what? I'll just go into it real quick. That's fine if you didn't like it. That is fine. Like, if you want to critique that on that separate merit, cool. But when you start talking about Tamina's age, do better. If you call yourself a wrestling journalist and then you start taking shots like, oh well, she's too old and stuff like that. Like, listen, like the top of the card in AEW currently has a 50-year-old, a 43-year-old, and a 42-year-old. Okay. So, like, to say that, and especially to say that about a woman, I think that is very unbecoming of a certain person. So, I mean, I just took issue with that. I just had to say it real fast.
Yeah, anything to get your slander off, I guess. And then, like, people that were, like, really applauding him saying that stuff are, like, shitty people as well. taking stabs at other journalists, more successful journalists. Shit.
I don't want to
just a bitter community.
Because you know what I mean. But I just took particular offense to that comment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to comment if you think that like the match didn't do for you. Cool, you can say that, and you can say it constructively, and you can kind of like go into that. But like just kind of throwing that just didn't sit right with me. And I said something about Twitter about that. Like, you can. Wrestling journalism could be better than that. You don't have to kind of like say anything about people's age, because like wrestling is a business where like older people, like the Undertaker, still like, you know, like they talk about that on the A show too, like this Undertaker documentary where like the Undertaker's 53 and he's still wrestling. You know what I mean? So if you want
like Liger almost the same age before he was retiring. Miro Suzuki being 50 and everybody loves him. Not saying that, like the age range is still there. Like Tamina had a very decent, had a really good match. I won't even say decent. It was a really good match, and I think she definitely should get her and Bayley should definitely get her flowers for it.
And continue that feud too, because I like Tamina as kind of like the whole promo thing like that she was doing on Twitter.
Cool stuff.
New episode of The First Responders. They talk about that guy. That
Rat Man.
They talk about that guy. Also, this weekend's Nelly versus Ludacris Veru's online battle, which I think is divided some people.
The funniest. I think that's the funniest part of the episode. Cam is in his bag when talking about Nelly and Ludacris, so everybody tune in for that. I thought that was like comedy.
Got a new episode of the Mount Silver podcast. They talk about the fifth Jim Meccano. They talk about Erica. The Secret Underground basis of Team Rocket. There's also a new episode of Chatting with Nelson. It's a good talk with Miami radio show host Sabrina. Be sure to tune into that. New Big Eyes podcast with Jamal. He talks about Promise Neverland and another episode of My Hero Academia. So like I said, like RNC Radio Live, follow us at Twitter, follow us on like Spotify, Apple Music, wherever your podcasts are. We are your quarantine station. We have about 50 million things that you can listen to. Movies, TV, wrestling. Like anime. Pretty much everything, man. So check us out. So for myself, for Cyrus, this is the War Report, and we will be back next week talking about some Double or Nothing too.